Like, I can't believe she's 5.
I'm up next. Continue.
She what?
I said I'm up next.
What?
My birthday.
Oh my god.
Birthday, baby.
That's right, and you're gonna be only 25.
Yo.
Wow. Wow. That's good. What do you do for your birthday?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
That's a poppin' weekend.
What do you want to do for you?
I want to do everything, but like, I don't know. I want to do something though. I didn't really do anything last year. I took it easy because I be getting lit every year, so I gave my body a break last year. But it's time to go hard again this year. So
Okay. Well, that's good. That's good. How about you guys? What's up with you, Flo? I haven't seen you in a minute. I wasn't here last week. How are you doing?
I'm chilling, you know. Yeah, I'm chilling. I was this weekend. I ain't do nothing. I just caught up on sleep. That's what I did.
Oh my God, that's so
I
good.
caught up on sleep.
Yesterday we did the same thing because we was up for like 2 days straight preparing for the birthday party.
Right.
And then yesterday we just just literally laid in bed all day.
Right.
Just to catch up.
That's good.
Yeah. So yeah, in other news, what do you guys think about all these shootings going on, and it's so crazy. Like, what's your thoughts on all this? In case you guys didn't know, there were 2 shootings this past week. One was in Texas, and it was racially motivated. The individual drove all the way down to Texas because he said that he didn't want Hispanics taken over. He was tired of the Hispanics in the country, and so he went down there to purposely kill. And then there was another one in an Ohio mall, correct? And there was another mass shooting there. There's no word on what was the motive behind that, but 2 major shootings in just 1 week. Like, what do you guys think?
I feel like that's been happening. It's like it's not new.
Nah,
It's sad,
it's not.
but and they happen less than 24 hours. But it's like
Yeah.
what are you gonna do?
Speaking of which, he killed what 26 people in less than a minute. No, in a minute.
Yeah, and there was like 59 total, right? Or like,
I'm not even sure, but
59 total shots.
yeah, 59 total shot dead, or just shot.
Shot. Total.
Shot. Yeah.
that's crazy.
Yeah, and it's just so crazy. What gets me and it gets me so upset is like how they are literally like have no scratches on them when they're like going and getting arrested.
I think people should just get guns because I'm shooting back.
Yeah,
If somebody got a gun and they shooting at Walmart and I got my gun, I'm shooting at you. I'm not running. I'm shooting at you.
right. Well, you see, the thing is too is that like there's no change in the gun laws either. So like, do you guys think that there should be some type of change in like the gun laws in America?
I feel like people should just get more guns. Like, just get more guns so you can shoot back. If more people had guns and they can shoot back, people will be out here dying. They try that stuff.
But you don't think that it will like promote more violence with everyone having a gun?
No, because people already got guns out here. And the people that's creating all the nonsense is already strapped up with legal guns, doing mass killings. So more regular people need to have guns. Because if they had guns, they can defend themselves. They can shoot back at the person and kill the person. And then they'll save everybody else's life.
And there's people out here with guns, and they're not. They know they have guns. If they really wanted to, they could shoot a Walmart up or whatever. But they're not doing it. It's all the person. You know what I mean? You can't. It's not the law that needs to change. Well, some of it does, but to say I don't think it necessarily needs to be changed. It's just that certain people just shouldn't have them. Like,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like,
More screening.
yeah. So it's more like make the process a little more harder if that's the case. You know
Right. Well,
what I mean?
that was in place, and then Donald Trump took away the progress that Obama made because remember, Obama put into play that those that were mentally ill could not possess a gun, and you had to get a psychological screening and all that stuff. And then Donald Trump actually took the law away, and then allowed those with mental illness to get guns.
It's because he's crazy though.
Nah, and then didn't he tried to blame video games for it. He said violent video games is the reason why. I played GTA last week. I did not wake up the next day like, yo, let me go shoot up child mode.
I feel like also those video games could be almost like a stress relief.
Yeah.
Right? I don't feel like it would be like I play GTA and
Exactly.
any normal person is not gonna say, yo, this is dope move and kind of shoot up the town.
Like, you gonna get on GTA like, yo, let me just kill these innocent civilians virtually.
Virtually, right? And then take it out like
yeah,
that.
like, and I'm
But that might have been like the guy that did it in El Paso and these guys that are killing all these people.
they're still mentally unstable white kids. Like, I hate to put the race on it, but like it's always pretty much.
I mean, like even if because I used to play GTA 2 a lot. And like I never was like, oh, let me kill this person. It was just like It was just like
You
I'm
never like
killing
shot
the
at the
thing.
cops and got 5
No,
stars.
yeah.
Yes,
Absolutely.
I'm
No,
super-
absolutely. And then I had,
Mad excited.
Yo,
Yeah.
yeah, and then I even know up, down, left, right, up, down, left,
Yo.
right.
Oh,
so,
you know
you know
that-
what I'm
you know
saying?
the cheat code.
You know what I'm saying?
Like,
Like,
Yeah, and to get the cops off you, like,
Yeah.
but I was never sitting there like, oh, I'm gonna shoot this person in the face. Like, it was just like, oh, let me get him out of my way, bang, 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 get you out the way. Like, you know what I mean? I never had the thought in my head that I'm killing a person. Like, it was never that deep. It was just like, I'm just driving through the, you know, I don't know.
Never got in the car just
Nah,
and
that's
just
why
ran the
we gotta
people
watch
over.
out for Ine. It was way too normal for her. Like, I was just gonna get him out. We was thinking about like, we gonna kill the people. She was like,
You
nah, this
actually-
is normal. Like, I was gonna
driving the speed limit.
That's what I was about to say. She actually stopped at the red light.
Nah,
Driving
I
the
didn't.
speed limit. Like,
Yeah. She stopped at the
Nah,
red
I
light.
didn't, but-
Okay, let's stop.
It's how, you know, it's just, I don't know, like, I feel like it's weird for people to, like, be playing those games and, like, actually visualizing people and, like,
or blame or for people to blame it on.
yeah, exactly, like, it was just a game.
not it was that, and then somebody says something like there's not enough prayer going on during school. I didn't pray in school. I turned out just fine. That's what church is for. But I don't think I mean you can use some prayer in school, but like to say that's because there's not enough prayer in the school. That just sounds.
How long is this gonna take?
That's somebody who's just religious. That's they come as just.
But not for nothing, these white people, and forgive me, like, I don't mean to, but they're not really, like, church-going people, are they? Like,
Who?
I mean,
Nah,
that's not true.
nah.
They
That's
super,
not true.
Not really.
South, they super Christian.
Okay.
Them white churches be big, like them Baptist
Hell
churches,
yeah.
like
Hell
they be
yeah.
super big. But even so, like you know, it's been happening since
Yeah.
before we had TV
What-
and
what's-
cameras.
yeah,
Stuff
what's-
like this been happening.
And it's even more crazy because I guess this whole thing is immigrants literally in cages right now because of, you know, all they're violent, they're the terrorists.
We
all-
need to accept the fact that that's our terrorism.
right,
like-
and
like
at the end of the day,
Every country has terrorists.
yeah, but the thing is that not one minority, and that's in all aspects, not just Black and Spanish, but I'm talking about people from everywhere that are just not white, have not done anything in the past 20 years almost, 15 years almost, where there hasn't been an incident from someone from another country. Every single mass tragedy in this country has been from white American.
You know what's interesting too? I was watching, like, my friend came over, and your friend came over, and he was showing me these crazy videos of people getting their head chopped off.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Like, I seen a video of this guy. They made him dig his own grave up, and like they, you know, and then they just beat him to death with like a dull machete. It was crazy, but I think also too, I think like, for instance, like that, like, yo, it was crazy, like for there was a riot, I think, in one of these third world countries, and there was like 15 heads was chopped off.
Yo, kicking
So-
them around.
And then I seen the videos of the heads like getting thrown around. People like had a head hold their heads, getting like plucking their heads with the machetes, like laughing, like it's dead ass.
I think I'm probably. Video.
It's literally like a human head in your hand, like no remorse.
Have
Like,
you seen? There's another video too where this guy he's in Puerto Rico. He's just taking a video and he's shooting the dude in the face.
oh, okay.
And repeatedly, and he's
Yeah,
showing
yeah,
it too. While
yeah,
he's,
yeah.
while he's, and all you see is the blood gushing. Just
That's
you
crazy.
see the whole face.
You ever heard about the documentary from Puerto Rico? That it was like I think it was either El Calderon promoted it or the other dude. What's the other dude? That's old time too. It was Donald Marr.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was one of them. They put like they got all this police evidence from the police stations in Puerto Rico, and they released all like the video evidence and the evidence of like people getting killed and shot up, and like, it's just the goriest thing ever. Like, but my point is, I think that like when like Donald Trump, for instance, like I think people are showing him like stuff when people are showing him stuff like this, and they're saying like, yo, these are the immigrants that are coming into the United States, and then like. You know, and like he probably really thinks like these are the people that are coming in and like are here and are.
I don't think it's that deep. I just think he knows his fan base and like he caters to that, and they're the majority. So.
But what I'm saying is like I don't want to come across those people ever. Like none of us want to come across.
They're
them.
not,
don't get locked
not
up
in our country.
Right, but I feel like he makes it seem like those are the people that are coming to the.
It's propaganda. He does that to get votes, but
Right.
he's gonna rile up those people.
Right.
Speaking of which, like since we're on that topic, alright, so did y'all hear? Like this is just interesting to me. So it's about to be 2020, right? So that means it's a start of a new millennium, right? right? 2020. So,
I
okay.
think the millennials every 100.
It's a new
Yeah.
decade.
I mean, a new decade.
Right,
Sorry, my
right.
fault. Pardon me. All right. So, it's interesting because he was talking about how they have finally found a cure for AIDS and cancer, right? But it's
Yeah.
interesting how you know.
And they bended that.
But that's what I'm saying though. All right. Do you guys know that the military gets pretty much like all the things that we get now? They had that 20 years ago. Did you guys know that?
Like what?
Like gadgets, like iPhones and all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
You knew
Like the like for instance, like drones was out in like 20 years ago.
That's what I'm
25
saying.
Years ago.
That's what I'm saying. So like, it's just interesting how now they're trying to promote that. So it's like, what else left do you have to offer? You know what I mean? Because if he's trying, I feel like he's only trying to do that to get the votes. But it's funny though, because now that it's being surfaced about how they're finding cures and all that other stuff, and people are actually doing their research, like, I don't know, I just think that's interesting how
No, I think
now he's
that,
trying to use that as
Yeah.
like a way to get votes, and that's corny to me.
But as far as the
That is
government,
corny.
the government holds like Area 51 first. This whole bizarre thing going around talking about Area 51. Like, there's so many bizarre things that's probably in that facility.
Yo,
Like-
can I be honest? As far as that, I feel like, I know this is off topic, but as far as that, I really feel like the aliens that are here, I don't know what to call them. I'm gonna just call them aliens. Right?
Extraterrestrials.
The aliens that are here, I feel like this is their planet and they're letting us use it.
So we're like little ants. in,
Not
like,
little ants,
ant
but it's
farm
like,
and,
yo,
like,
if you don't correct yourself, we gonna boop. You feel me?
Well, what's
Nah,
correcting
'cause
ourselves?
you would think
Like,
about
if
it.
they don't, pretty much, if they have, their technology is way better than ours, right? Because think about it. How did you?
Allegedly.
Alleged. Right. You see, he's catching on. All right.
Allegedly.
All right. So think about it. Like, first of all, they came here. That's just they came here. We can't go there. Wherever there is.
Mhm.
So obviously, there's something we're missing.
What if they was born bred here?
But that's what I'm saying. They probably moved here.
Y'all didn't hear about the new Earth they found? That was like 41 million light years
31
away.
Oh yeah, it'll,
31.
it'll take 40 million years to get there. Yeah, something like that, like 30. 40
Okay,
million.
my
Or
question-
habitable.
My question here though is that like our equipment is not equipped to travel that far.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, right? But like the pressuristic standards that we need, like it that's why like humans can't go that
No,
far.
I really can't though.
They had
and
that
so-
movie.
But the
Go ahead.
thing is that like is this like an idea? Is this something that like they're predicting? Because like we literally don't have any equipment that can withstand the like atmospheric pressures that's out there.
How do you know that?
We don't.
Because we can't send humans anywhere because of that. And then our satellites already go but so far. And like we have faint images of like Saturn and stuff like that, like faint. And then they put it together on a computer of what they think it might look like because our satellites can't go that far.
Right.
So like if it's like 41 million, you take like that far, like how can we possibly know what is actually on that planet? So
To make it habitable.
for us to even know it's habitable for one, and for two,
Propaganda.
right? And for that's what I'm saying. And like
Well,
for two, NASA I think is a big fraud. It's a big government fraud.
well, what do you think? What do you think starts life? Like,
Well, what starts life is carbon, stardust, bacteria,
Okay.
and water.
and so if they find how many out of whatever there, however many it is, does that determine if there's life or not? I'm not being sarcastic.
Oh, no.
I'm asking a legit
And
question.
what makes it habitable? Is it just habitable for humans, or is it habitable for whatever?
Exactly,
Like,
and that too because the humans need oxygen, right? And we need the carbon for the plants, and so that's why we have plants that give oxygen, and that's why there's us, right? But like it depends because
Right, unless you use a source where you create your own air.
right, or you create your own
atmosphere.
like atmosphere
Right.
which creates its own species.
Right.
Granted, but how possibly without the technology to even get far enough to get a clear picture of Saturn, do we know that that there is a habitable element on another planet 41 million years in distance from here?
My only answer to that, I feel, is,
NASA's a
and
fraud.
I'm not saying I'm right. Nah, well, that, but
You
the
guys-
telescopes, they make telescopes that can see. Like,
Okay,
think about it. You can't like that's how they get pretty much a lot of the images.
right.
It's through the telescopes.
You hear what's going on in Hawaii with the telescopes?
Nah.
It's You want to continue? Finish with your.
No, I finished.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. But in Hawaii, they're trying to build like this major telescope on the island on like sacred ground. So it's like there's like so many people fighting for like the sacred ground to keep it and preserve it instead of putting the telescope there. So I think The Rock was talking about it too. He went out there to like
The
see
Rock
it.
for president 2020.
Yo, that'd be
Nah,
dope.
for real.
Yo,
for
if
real.
the Trump could get in there, yo, I'm sure
Anybody
The Rock can.
can.
But The Rock,
Nah, but The Rock is a better qualified.
he's such a like inspirational person too, like caring, loving.
Can't you imagine like his like presidential like a campaign?
If you smell
I'm
with The
I'm
Rock.
here for
What
all of it.
America?
He knew the people's eyebrows.
You know,
Yeah, I'm
the
pulling
biggest
out my
troll
old
too in the
brown
White House,
bullshit.
I'm pro Rock all day. I was a Rock
Your
fan
word.
since I
Pro
was born.
Dwayne Johnson.
That's
Dwayne.
true.
I actually spoke to Dwayne Johnson one time when I was in telemarketing.
For real?
And yeah, and like his number came up, and I was so hyped because he picked up, and he's like, and I like, he's like, do you know who this is? And it said Dwayne Johnson, and it sounds just like him. It could have been fraud, I don't know. But then, and he's like, yo, he's like, call me back when you can figure out who I am. So I'm like, all right. So I'm like, you remember this, right? I came home, and I'm like, I don't know. Anyway, then my boss, I'm like, Dwayne Johnson. He's like, duh, that's a freaking Rock. Like, what's wrong with you? So like everyone got like they put the call on the speaker, and like everyone was like, that's really him. It sounded just like him, and he's like, yeah, I just wanted to call you. He's like, I'm not interested in what you're selling, but like, you know, like I just wanted you to know who you're talking to, whatever. It was pretty cool.
That's a great guy.
But anyway, Hawaii is actually used a lot for space things because of the way that the land is and stuff. Did you guys anybody watch the One Strange Rock I was telling you guys about on Netflix about like going up into the about all the astronauts and everything? Anyway.
I
But
think
yeah,
that space exploration is boring.
no, this is so cool though. This show, like the series, is really really cool.
Like when you think like space, you think like Space Invaders, and you think about like Star Wars, and like, and then you watch a space documentary, it's just like space and quietness. Like, imagine just floating away in space until you die.
Nah, you're not floating. You.
Right,
you just-
right.
That's the
yeah.
whole time. That's not floating. That's it.
I would be
That's-
sick. Imagine you just
Imagine for the rest of your life
you just spinning until you die.
around the whole earth. Like
I would be
Oh my God.
throwing up, bro.
Punishment?
Yo, but they say that
How
they
do
say
you
that
get that punishment?
but they say that you don't know with no gravity, you don't know which way is up,
You know,
regardless of where you at. So even if you're standing up, your blood feels like you're upside down at all times. So think about that. For years you're in space with no
And then-
direction of up.
On top of that, you could hit a dark hole, and it's over. You
A
finished.
black hole? Yeah, I'm
Yeah, I don't
You
think-
finished.
but
It's
you're
over.
that black hole.
No, you'll go to another dimension.
Nah,
No,
that
you
black
really
hole
did.
got that
Yo,
black
that'd be
hole
lit though.
finished.
What if it's a portal?
What if it's like the
Yo.
I believe that, though.
Avengers? If
Huh?
I'm not coming back. If it was like a dimension, to like
Obviously.
Superman.
Yo, I got a question for y'all that I asked my parents this in Puerto Rico last week, right? I believe that there's different dimensions like of
Facts.
ourselves, right? And you know, and honestly, like scientists have actually proven this, that there's other dimensions, right? What they do is they have this thing called a sensory tank. And it's a big water tank with salt in it so you can float. And what they do is it's black and you float in the sensory tank, right? And so now you have no sense of feeling because you're just there, right? Weightless. It's black. You can't hear anything. And so you're not eating or anything, you're not tasting anything. Literally taking away all your senses. And they like test certain things, but they showed people's brain waves and like they'll be like different. You gotta look it up. It's called interdimensional travel. And
Okay.
scientists have actually shown this before. But I wanted to ask y'all a question. If y'all have the chance to travel to another dimension of yourself and leave this life behind to go and live in the other dimension, would you?
No, because I feel like it would mess it up. It'll mess up what you're destined for.
No, so okay, so you guys ever watched the OA on Netflix?
I heard about it though.
Alright,
I heard it was
that's-
mad good.
That's actually a really good one too. And so basically is they find out the inner dimensions, right? And so like in another dimension of you, Flo, your name is still your name. And but like you're like a millionaire, right? Now you have no idea about any of your other dimensions. Just like you live right now, you don't know what about your other dimensions, right? Well, when you travel interdimensionally right? You get the conscious of that person. Plus, some of your old conscious still stays,
Right.
right? So now you got to mix in with this life or whatever. And now your old dimension, you're gone. You disappeared. Either you die or something happens to you, right? So everyone else in your old dimension knows about you in your present form, right? But in your next dimension, all your family and everything you know, it doesn't matter. It doesn't exist to you anymore. They're just people now.
Yeah.
So if you can travel, there's no guarantee you'll come back to your actual life of you in your present moment. Would y'all travel to another dimension?
Only if you could start from the beginning.
Well, you would start exactly that day
Nah, you
in
gotta start
another. So like if you say you're like a big time rapper
Nah.
in another dimension,
I wouldn't know what took me there.
You
I
would-
wouldn't start from the beginning.
you would stay there. You would get there today in another dimension.
Nah. I gotta start from the beginning.
I don't know. I might can't
Cause
rewind.
life
I don't know who's
life
gonna
is too
lose.
short.
I don't know what's going on.
You're gonna lose that time of all the stuff that you could have experienced. Like, why would you want to experience the whole lifetime? You know what I'm saying?
Right, interesting thing
But
about
it's just
the,
another life.
The dimension thing is, I heard some guy speaking, and he said that he had like he was a scientist, and like back in like the '89 or something, like I don't know what he was talking about, but he picked a mushroom that wasn't identified or categorized in the scientific book of mushrooms, right? Nobody had discussed. So he was playing with mushrooms that had nobody knew about really. But
So he got really high. I thought he was in another dimension.
no, but pretty much. But no, but here's the interesting part. Now, so this is an interesting, funny story, right? So the guy, he has like a stupid amount of them. Like the whole table is just full of these mushrooms, right? But he has to eat like 50 of them in order to get a certain dosage because it wasn't high in dosages. So what they did was they mashed up like hundreds of them into smoothies, drank them, and then they got really high, whatever the case may be. So the guy got tired, and this is for scientific purpose. He was really a scientist at the time. He's still a scientist now. His work is credible. So he goes to sleep, right? And he has this weird dream, right? And he said he comes down and he says, I think the world's gonna end soon, right? And I in my dream I seen 100 cattle just baking in the sun, dead, right? So there was like, and he was like, I think this is gonna happen real soon. Like, there was like, how soon? There was like this weekend soon. He was like, no, not this weekend. Next weekend, the world's gonna end. It's like, but his dream was, about the 100 cows baking in a cattle, whatever the case may be. So, the following week came, they forgot about it, and a big storm came, whatever the case may be, right? So it was like just pouring. He had his cabin up in the hills. He did everything he could to protect his work because he had like books, paperwork, everything was in the cabin, whatever the case may be. But if the thing is, it'll get flooded within a matter of like 2 hours of the rain, if it rained. You know what I mean? So he got there, he got stuck there, and he got to rescue his stuff, but everything got flooded. He was stranded out there for 2 days. So after the 2 days, he starts driving, and over the dam or the hill or the exit, from the recovery, he sees on the field 100 cattle dead. You feel me? Like hundreds of cattle dead. So he was saying that he kind of entered in his sleep, like almost another dimension.
In the future, almost.
But what happened was the drug, whatever he took, the mushrooms had unlocked that while he was sleeping, which took him into another like dimension where he could foresee the future, kind of. You know what I'm saying? So he kind of predicted that in a way. Like it wasn't like the world didn't end, but it was a bad storm, and he ended up still seeing hundreds of dead cattle. Like,
Well, they say that like a sign of you being able to travel interdimensionally is premonition, because you have to, like, your brain has to be like unlocked in a certain way, and like you unlock certain things where you can connect yourself to the future and you see different things. And that happens in that series called the OA, where they have like premonitions and where they can like travel and stuff. It's pretty cool. But
what if?
Yeah.
Because it's funny. I had the same thing. But like, what if you can go to like different dimensions? I mean, not different dimensions. What if in the different dimensions that you are, what if something happens, right? But
to interrupt the other dimension.
Yeah. So
but
like,
the dimensions are not connected.
No. But what I'm saying in this one is like, the one I was thinking about.
Oh,
like,
okay.
Like the way I look at it is like you get a pen, right? And get like a tissue, fold it up, and then just poke a hole. Then open it back up. That's pretty much telling you how much dimensions there are, right? When you bring it up. Now let's say out of all those holes that happen, those each hole that is you. It's kind of like you. You ever seen The One with Jet Li?
No.
It's kind of like that, right? All right, so boom.
That
So
was a good
when
ass
he
movie.
dies, when one of him dies, his powers get spreaded through the rest of them.
So the more people that die, the more powerful he gets.
He has like 9
Yeah,
lives.
it's pretty much no, it's way more than that. Yeah, he got mad at him. It was supposed to be like 256, but that's just a little story. But I'm saying, like, let's say something happens in a different dimension, but either that got prevented and it caused a ripple effect in a different dimension.
Oh,
Does
gotcha.
that make
Okay.
does it make any
so
sense?
then, in this sense, this is connected. Then
Yeah,
the
that's what I'm
dimensions are
saying.
connected, and so like what you choose and what happens to you in one affects you in all the other ones, pretty much.
It could, like, cause I don't know. I feel like all right. Just in terms of me, like, let's get a little deep. Like,
Yeah.
in terms of me, like, sometimes, like, I feel like I'm connected to my own person,
Right,
You know what I
right.
mean? So, like, it's kind of weird.
So it's like the
Alright, cool.
Doppler effect you're talking about,
Not really.
or the Doppler, whatever effect. Where
It's nothing like that. It's just
Okay.
like, you ever felt like someone was in the room with you,
yeah.
or someone was following you,
Mhm.
just keeping an eye on you or whatever.
Mhm.
Not in a harm's way or anything, but like, somebody
Yeah.
was there.
Mhm.
You feel me? It's kind of like, let me give you this example. Y'all ever seen Harry Potter?
Yes.
You know how Hermione used to like have like 4 classes at the same time, but she had like that charm. So like they went to like Hagrid's house one day,
Mhm.
and it was really them in the forest. You remember that?
Mm-mm.
No. All right. Anyway, yeah. It's
So
kinda,
like you feel
it's
like
kind of like you can follow yourself,
right.
but it's like
okay, so you can like bump into yourself in another time.
yeah, like
almost.
something happened. You know what I
Right,
mean? Like
right. So
that's
like
how I
so
feel.
like basically like if you go far enough, like say you're running, I guess, far enough into the future, you can catch up with yourself of where you know, and then kind of like follow yourself around to
in a
see
sense, yeah.
what you're doing and where you're going. And I
Right.
see how in that sense that if you change something, say you go back to the past
Mm-hmm.
and then you change something in the future, then your future self will then be affected by the change in path that you've then taken. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. But like I feel like a lot of people say like deja vu is like, oh, you've actually been there before or something that's really familiar to you. But like me personally, like I will dream something like years and I'm like, damn, like what, like I'll dream of like a office and having a conversation or something. Like this is a true story. Like so long ago, I dreamt of like being in an office and then I was like in the break room or whatever, right? And then I remember in the dream this lady and she was having trouble picking up the table and she was moving it for a party, right? And then I brought in food and I was like, I put my food down in the dream and I just helped her or whatever. And then this was years ago, like I'm telling you, back in high school maybe, and I always wondered like, well, like that's so random or whatever.
Yeah.
And the very first time I've ever brought in food to my job, the lady was having trouble with the freaking the desk in the break room. And at that moment, I was like, yo. Like,
you saw your future.
Yo, like I remember this moment. Like she was like, "You good?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine." And I helped her with the table and put my food down. Like, but I went back to my desk. Like,
that's so Raven.
yo, like, I don't know. Like, it's just so specific sometimes that like it's like it can't be like a familiar. Just familiarity, like you know what I mean. Like people say, like, oh, it's just something that you've been there before or whatever. When it's real specific like that, like, you know, I don't know. I believe deja vu is like the interdimension future or past kind of thing. Like,
I'm kind of iffy on that sometimes though. Like sometimes I believe in it and then sometimes I don't. It's weird though.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, going back to the topic at hand.
They go forever with that.
Yeah. So like, obviously, like I feel like life is gonna change. You know, like life is changing now. I feel like with the motivation to now be outwardly racist about going and mass killing and stuff like that. Like yeah, like I just didn't want Spanish people here. Is just crazy. You know, they say like wherever Trump has had a rally, racial crimes went up like 200%. Wherever he went and had a rally there, you know. So like, do you think that our lives are gonna change soon? Like, do you think that like we're gonna have to like start like Rex said, everyone's gonna have a carry permit, everybody's gonna have a gun, everyone's gonna have to, are they gonna allow that? How are our lives gonna change now that things are just outwardly different?
No, it's not different. It's been happening. We keep saying this. We keep having this conversation. You just have cameras now. It's been happening. It's been happening around the world. This is our terrorism. These people been racist like this
Right.
since. Segregation wasn't even 100 years old. It's not
Right.
even 100 years
Yeah.
old yet. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
people forget about that.
But I feel like it got better and then like it got back down. Like it kind of like a little hump
Yeah, when
because
Barack was in office.
because there were
There were people that hated Barack
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but they were more respectful than they are today.
just because of the color of his skin.
Mhm.
No, the difference is that you have a president now that's like getting
He
people
make
all hyped
yeah,
up.
he makes
that's
them
what I'm saying.
comfortable.
But those
He makes,
those
he makes
people
them
been
mad
there
comfortable.
though. He's not making people just out the blue become like that.
I'm
They've
not saying
been
that.
there. No, I know, but that's what I want people to understand.
Yeah.
Like they've been there. It's
Yeah,
just like
but the thing is like back before Donald Trump came into office, like because we are minority, we know that it's there. Because we have to deal with it every day, all day, we know that it's there. However, it was still something that, was kind of like, it was something talked about on the low. It was something that's like, well, let's not hire this person because they're black or Spanish. Or, segregation stopped. And that's where it was at a peak in our lifetime, in our parents' lifetime and grandparents' lifetime. But, like, then eventually once the laws came out to protect us as little as it has been, but it still has in that kind of way. But now I feel like it's not something under the table anymore. It's not.
Slavery still exists.
Yeah, it's not something that like is now like it was kind of a conversation within households, and then you just outwardly, you subconsciously did that. It's not just the cops anymore. I feel like there was this peak in it being outward, so outward, and then it kind of went down a little
it's
bit.
because we got cameras. I keep telling you, we got cameras.
But there
now.
was no cameras in segregation time and slavery time and all that stuff.
But that's when we thought it got better when it wasn't segregation no more because it wasn't no cameras. It wasn't no cameras. Now everything is going viral. Every
Yeah.
racial attack. If people can watch something happen, it's gonna be video.
Imagine if they had video cameras back like in the 60s.
Exactly. That's what it is. It's just that people have cameras
All
now.
of this would
Now,
have been nothing to
now everything is documented.
So you don't think that so Donald Trump didn't really affect any of the crimes that are happening today? It's just the people that are doing the same thing they've always done.
He's just showing you like now they have somebody to rally behind, but it's not like they've
Like
been
someone
there.
to justify.
Yeah.
No, yeah, absolutely.
They've been there. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, it's not like, oh, it's worse because he's around. Like, no, they've been there. They just have somebody in power now that they can actually agree with. Just how people just hated Barack just because he was a black man.
Mhm.
And they blamed him for a whole bunch of stuff that he didn't do just because he was a black man. That's been happening. But now you have a president that's race baiting people. So now it gives those people that been around that was hating on Barack a reason to, get all happy and go crazy. And so it's been around. It's just like I said, it's cameras now. Now, if you do something, everything's documented. So if you say something that comes out of context or if sounds a certain type of way, like everybody's jumping at you.
Mhm.
That's just like, what's that guy's name? He said something about saying that kids that identify as transgenders, like young kids, that he feels like is harmful and everything. That people are letting their kids do that, and parents are letting their kids that's a boy say they're a girl and this and that. And I don't think he was wrong, but he got like assassinated. You know what I'm saying? Basically, not physically, but you know what I mean, like his character.
Oh, I thought he
No, his
was
character.
I'm like,
His character, because they like threw him under the bus for that, and like honestly, that's his opinion, and he really didn't say nothing wrong. He's just saying let kids be kids.
Mhm.
But nowadays, since you have the internet and everybody sees everything, it's like you can't speak your mind, you can't say this, you can't say that. But if you have technically, which is it's really not what it is, but you can say that's the powerfulest man in the world just because he's the United States president. And he's really not, but you know what I mean.
Mhm.
So now they have somebody that can say, oh, I can say this because he says this, and he's the president. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
To that extent.
Well, unfortunately, it starts. First of all, he is like being charged with like sexual harassment and all this stuff. And then now I think that this causes ripple effect, and I think that him actually being allowed to represent the country and being so racist and so disrespectful towards women and anybody who's not white, or anybody, just being a misogynistic narcissist, really,
Did you hear about? My bad to cut you off, but this like goes with what you're saying. Did you hear about the old presidents talking about the racial slurs they were using, talking about the Africans and Asians?
Mhm.
Was it Nixon?
Well, I think I did read that like most presidents were actually white supremacists in a way. Like they cared against.
But they had actual audio tape recordings that leaked of
That
these
was
presidents. You
That was
heard about that,
recently.
right?
That was Nixon.
Yeah.
That was Nixon.
Hey,
The
they
first
talking
one was
about
Nixon.
Yes, like they had it. So
He said,
Like-
can I say what he said? He was like,
there's no
he-
curse.
Yeah, no, he didn't curse. He was like, he said,
Call them monkeys.
yeah, he called them monkeys, and that he was like, they don't even know,
They don't wear shoes.
they're not used to wearing, they don't even be used to wearing shoes yet, something like that. Like,
Wow.
they don't even want to wear shoes yet, or something like that. They're not used to wearing shoes. Some
More-
crazy racist.
More of the
old
story is
And
the
then-
president's been racist.
Not
Yeah.
Reagan, but what's his Reagan? He was talking to Nixon. Oh yeah, Nixon and Reagan both started laughing. You know, the dog tasted the tail there. Like,
Well, and then this is the thing too.
Bad
I think it
racist.
causes the privilege has always been there, and we always know. But I feel like being so like outward and it working is a problem. And the problem is that our government didn't shut that down and say you can't run for president, because I never seen any other president's campaign off racism. You know, yes, were they racist? Absolutely, and it's proven. But they weren't outwardly racist, and that's what I'm saying is that
who
they
was it?
like other presidential campaigns, like Donald Trump was. And the problem is that America didn't have the backing as a government, didn't back up their people, because they allowed this to continuously happen. They allowed him to continue to run for president. They allowed him to get the candidacy of presidency. And now we have congressmen who are pedophiles with a sexual predator background and proven white supremacy running as Congress and actually having a chance with high ballots and votes. Like, how do these types of people get to these high positions? And the problem is that it's okay now. You know, like it's like, okay, well, you can say whatever you want and it's okay. Before Donald Trump, tell me what president was so outwardly racist and behind that got votes.
It was just racist in private.
Nixon.
They are racist.
Yeah, they
Um,
are, but what I'm saying is
George
like
Bush.
their campaign was not driven off racism and disrespect towards women, and still were placed in a place of presidency.
You know what's funny? Didn't they say like 54% of the women that voted for Trump was white or something? So, haha, stupid. Like, y'all went and voted for him and he's dissing y'all.
Right.
Like, that's what y'all get.
And that's what I think
It's
too.
been like that.
But that's why I feel like it's a huge problem. It's like you get all these privileges, and now you're just blatantly like smacking America in the face with the racism, and the government is completely backing you in front of everyone, showing everyone like this is what it is, and obviously what we all believe in.
If he gets elected again, the American people are morons.
Oh yeah,
Let's all agree
What?
on that right now. Like, if he gets
Agreed.
elected again, like,
I think
these
he
people
is,
are complete
unfortunately.
morons. Like, complete idiots.
I think he's gonna find the way. It's been rigged a whole long
I believe
time
it
ago,
too, and
but
these people are still idiots.
unfortunately, I think he is. But
I
why?
vote for Bernie.
Why does everyone keep saying that we can't protest against Trump like Puerto Rico did? I don't understand. We have so many more people. We have so many more power, so much more power, so much more influence, so much more money. Is it just scared? Are we scared as a nation? Like, and people are like, oh, we can't do that because of all the power that's behind. And like, you know how much power in numbers? Puerto Rico literally stood in highways, shut down major highways, and said no one's going anywhere. No one's doing anything. No one's getting home. Nothing until there's a change.
You know how sick you would have been trying to drive home that day? And you see a mob of people telling you, like, nah, it's over. We're going to stay here as long as we can until the president steps down. I'll be like, oh, man, please just let me do, like, no. But to be honest, I also think that, like, people's going to have to die, like, to make shit. Like, people are going to have to, like, really, like, I don't know how we're going to do it peacefully. Because it's like, we've been trying to do it peacefully, and we've done it peacefully, and then every time we try to do it peacefully, we get our ass beat.
How have we protested against Trump in the whole 4 years? How? In what way have we as a people come together peacefully
Just
and
the woman.
have done
The woman
anything?
did.
But wasn't
The women have. Remember when all those women came together? He
that's
says-
the Me Too movement. That's not.
Was it? No, it wasn't the Me Too movement. That was when he was doing that. When they all came together, the biggest woman joint.
Yeah, but they stood in front. But this is the thing. We need the power of the whole United States.
That's what I was talking about. We need a leader. That's what we were talking about. We need a Martin Luther King, Malcolm
No,
X.
that's bull. Because you want to know what? Who led Puerto Rico? Everyone felt so strongly and said we're going to do it together. They didn't wait for
We
someone
gotta
to
start a
step up.
Facebook page.
Puerto Rico
They
is
didn't-
smaller than New York.
They didn't.
You know that?
Yes.
It's smaller
You
than
can get
the
around
state
the
of New
whole.
York.
You can get around the whole island.
It's probably a lot easier to
Just-
take over.
Exactly. Just think about that.
What? It's not though. If everyone feels strongly and everyone, the problem is that America is full of excuses. Because you want to know what? We're not desperate enough for it to change. Because our lives are still okay. This is the difference. Puerto Rico, they needed change, and they all came together as a community and knew that they needed change and knew that something was wrong, and they all had the same moralistic standards together as a community. And that
Do
is
you
what.
think they did that because they got desperate? There was at a point of that, like.
There was at a point where this needs to change, and that's the problem is that we have still, we have still a lot of leeway where we can live normal, regular lives without this really truly affecting us, in any kind of way. And
Well,
I think
it's
that,
affecting us, but not we can't.
But-
We don't see it. That's
yeah,
all
and I also feel like people are lazy, and if it's not directly affecting people as a community, then they're not going to do anything. And I personally also feel like that people don't really care to go put their lives out there to fight for anything anymore.
So what do you feel like we should do?
I feel like we should do the same thing. I feel like we should shut things down. Stop going to these major white places, businesses. I think that we should stop shopping at Walmart and look at back in the day, right? Everybody says that it's we're too big, right? But look at the protests when people stopped riding the bus because they were segregating black people and white people. People stopped and they made change happen. When people still, black kids still went to schools and they didn't care that things were getting thrown at them, that they were getting hurt or anything like that, they stood up and they still went. And what happened? Change happened. They stood up against an entire half of a country and they made change happen.
I don't think it's that serious, honestly.
It is. People.
If he could get elected again, that's 4 more years. If not,
That's the
he only
mentality.
had 2 terms.
But that's the mentality that we have right now, and it's like we're allowing our people to continue to get disrespected, to get killed by the police
I feel like
officers.
Trump is just chatting. Like he's not really like. Honestly, he's not affecting the quality of our lives.
How
honestly.
not?
He's just chatting. He's really not.
He's not
not
affecting
affecting
your
the
life.
He's not affecting you because you have privileges that other people don't have.
That's crazy.
What about people? What about the tax brackets that took all the money away from single mothers that couldn't get taxes in the year?
Or
what
not
about-
even that. The Mexicans that lost
What about
their
all the
families.
people that are in cages right now?
Like
There's thousands of people that are told to drink out of a toilet water. What about all those people? Because you're not in a cage
Yo.
or you're not a single mom that got it taken away.
When-
You think he's just
if
talking.
I was a millionaire, I would want the same tax breaks.
But
And
you're
you
not a
would want the
millionaire,
same
though.
tax
No,
breaks.
I wouldn't.
But
I
that's-
would.
Because you want to know what? I am in that tax bracket and I don't want it. And I don't.
I would want.
And so I'm gonna tell you something right now. I would rather somebody else who is less fortunate than me, who is struggling, who works 80 hours a week and say a restaurant with 3 kids or whatever. Those people, I think that they deserve the taxes that we got and they actually got lowered down.
You said what? Say that again.
The people who got over a certain tax bracket,
Okay.
they got more taxes and they have to pay less taxes in their paycheck because you make over a certain amount. And so the people who make under that, which is most people, have to pay more in taxes and get less in the end of the year. So you have all these people, these single moms and single dads, you have all these people that are struggling already, okay, that have more kids, that have less resources, in bad communities, in bad schools, and everything like that. And now you're getting, mind you, you're getting the least amount that you can as a minimum wage because, again, that's another thing that he can change, but is not going to. Okay, the educational system that he's stealing all the money from, and all Congress and all the board and everybody else that's pocketing all that money and all those kids that can't get an education. The women not getting equal pay. and having to still suffer against sexually motivated things in the workplace. That's not being changed either because this is a white man. How about all of the abortions? Now you can go and get your life taken away because of an abortion, and that wasn't changed either. But you see, no, if you're not directly affected by any of that, then it's to you. It's just somebody saying something over the microphone. If you're not living there, and this is the thing, is that too many people are so, and this is no offense to anybody else, but everyone is consumed with themselves. Nobody is motivated to come together as a community and say, my neighbor, it might go to jail because she was raped and now has to have an abortion or live with this for the rest of her life. I want to fight for her. No one's doing that. And that's the issue here as us together, in this nation, is that we're very selfish people. We don't need it that much because there's a lot of us that are privileged. It's not just white people that are privileged. It's if you have a comfortable life, you're privileged, and you don't want to get out of that to help your fellow people, human beings. That is what I think the problem is.
So my thing is, what do you say all of this? So who's gonna be the first one to step up? Is it gonna be you?
I'll try.
That's what I'm saying.
Who's gonna start the Facebook page and the videos, and he's gonna tell you to meet me at Walmart so we can start shutting stuff down and meet us there. Boom, we're gonna put stuff together. Board meetings, politics, running the town. Who
How
does
about us, dear society? Isn't that what we are here for?
Right.
So,
Absolutely.
So isn't that something that that we
We're here for? We're here for social awareness.
Right, and that's a part of social awareness. That's something that you do.
But
like,
there's so much social awareness. Like, there's so much social
there's
awareness.
There's a difference of like showing up, of posting a picture, and there's a difference of showing up,
Right.
and like blocking the door of Walmart and saying do not buy here. Like you know what I'm saying, or going to these big corporations that big banks and all this, shutting down Route 80.
So let me ask you this.
Okay, not letting trucks go by to make money, like big things like that.
So do you think there's a difference with actually, like, say I had a picture or whatever and it was talking about like awareness or whatever, and I shared it, but then just like you said, there's a difference between posting that and actually going.
Mm-hmm.
What if you only post it and you don't go? Are you still in some type of way doing awareness? Do you feel like that person did they? My question, forget that. My question is, do you feel like that person did their job?
I feel like that person said like, "Hey, I agree," but didn't go out and vote. That's the difference. Like,
so they half-assed it.
So I feel like they did what they put out their opinion, but did they change anything? Maybe they could have changed other people's minds.
But
did they make actual change?
Yeah.
It's hard to.
Nah. Answer it. It's either yes or it's no.
Well,
do you think they did
here's
it?
The thing is.
Do you think they halfway did it, or do you think was some of it lazy? Like what? That's pretty much what I'm asking. Like
in the grand scheme of making a change and an actual change, yes, I think that it's like something that you can just say like, okay, that's like complaining about Donald Trump and then not going to go vote, or that's like educating everybody else about. Oh, what Donald Trump does and how he affects us, but then when voting time comes, not actually going to vote.
Mm-hmm.
That's the difference. Like you might call somebody else to vote, which is great, and so then in that stance you have changed someone, but you as yourself, no.
My advice is that you gotta find the balance. You feel me? Because it's gonna be good and evil and everything. So it's like whether you vote or not, or whether everything hits the fan, or if it doesn't hit the fan, like. There's always going to be two types of people that just don't agree with what you're talking about, that don't agree with what you're saying, that's going to see Donald Trump's point as the most valid point. Yeah, you're going to try to bring awareness, but like just be prepared for the yin and the yang and things, you feel me? Because it's always going to be two sides to something. There's always going to be the good side, the bad side, and some people are in the middle. Some people are like, you know what I mean? Like go through their lives, dibble and dabble into both. So just be prepared, F politics, F everything else, like just. You gotta, because like sometimes like it really don't affect me. Like sometimes like I don't think about, but I try to be the best man I can be to the people that I meet, come across, and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And you know what? I'm like, all right, wherever the world takes me, it takes me. But I'm gonna be just the best person. I think that's what it's about, is influencing everybody else around you and the people around you to like just care for one another and be like, you know what I'm saying? And especially the people in politics, like those people. That's the messed up part about it, is that the people in politics. Some people they have cold hearts, and some people don't care, and they're only in tune with their family and don't think about the masses of people But I also think that people have to like be more examined. So, like you said, you have to fight. It should be more of like, you know, how you able to sit in those seats, is you have to take a test of like a moral test almost, and like see like how your moral scale is like almost, you know what I'm saying? Because some people is not gonna have sympathy. These people banging the gavel and making these decisions for people are not gonna have sympathy for you, and all the people in that don't have a lot or is making a difference, they don't care. They're not gonna care. So it's like you have to be prepared. Like, and if there's not, and yeah, if you see something that's going on in your community that you could be a part of to make the numbers stronger and to make your community a stronger community, then be there. But if you're not gonna do that, you still have to be a good person and love one another to 100. You feel me? Because like whether the government is gonna affect you or not, like it's sometimes it's not gonna make a difference. But if it is, then be there. But if it's not, then just be woke within, like, you know what I'm saying, yourself, and just try to make a good positive impact on people.
So I know that you, if you was able to vote, would you?
What?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I honestly can't say.
If even to get Donald Trump out of the office this term, you wouldn't have voted.
I would.
Okay.
I would.
I hope so. What were you
Cause
saying? Yes.
even if my votes don't matter or they do matter, I'll still do it just to be a part of that cause. Like I could say like, yo, I tried. Like, yeah, I was. Well, at least I was. It's easy as just stopping at the firehouse and just flipping switch. Like whether it's, you know what I'm saying, whether it's fixed or not. Like, and that's the thing that sucks, because it's like we might be going and trying to think we're making a difference, and we be just flipping a switch that really is not working. Like. And I think that's also what's happening. It's been happening too. Like we've been getting cheated out of good presidents. Same thing with George Bush and Al Gore. Like, we were supposed to have like super climate change. Al Gore had like super good plans for America, and like we were supposed to be like a super eco-based friendly country, and like we got effed out of that. And like thank God for Barack, because you know we got what we wanted, but. You know, we're not gonna always get blessed with the best presidents that we're gonna want. Of course, we got Donald Trump in office. He paid his will. However, he got his way into office. He did it, and how you respect that? You seen what this man has done and said. Like, yo, how the heck? Like, this man is running the country. Like, so I was like, you gotta be woke. Okay.
What about y'all? Y'all gonna vote? Y'all gonna vote? What, this November? Next November?
Yeah, I'm a vote.
What you mean probably? You're gonna vote? Is either, like you said, it's either a yes or is it no? You're gonna make sure you vote, because either you're making sure you're gonna go vote or you're not gonna do it.
I'm gonna vote.
What about you, Rex?
But
If I see a president or a candidate that I'm interested in, I'll watch it on TV.
But are you gonna vote?
If I see somebody that's worth voting for,
So if you don't see anybody worth voting for you, you want to keep Trump in office. Is what you're saying.
that's
Or
not
just
me.
it is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. It's not me keeping Trump in office, but like if I'm gonna make that a decision that important, I have to really believe in what they believe in. You know what I'm saying? Because that also means just don't go voting for some random person just because you want to take Trump out of office and they have these crazy beliefs. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you gotta really examine it and listen to what people are saying.
So,
watch
are you gonna
debates.
actually do that?
Yeah, I watch TV. I watch it all the time. I watch the debates.
All right.
I watch all the social media posts with. I seen the thing with the governor, like the black lady in Cali, how the other lady was getting on her, and you know, like I would have never known all that.
You know what we could do as a step, because you know what, it's probably going to be difficult to get everyone to like block Route 80, you know, like all over the nation. But you know what we could do is we can go stand outside of high schools. We can go up and down Main Street. We can go to Walmart and make sure people are voting. Sending free rides and free Ubers to the place for them to go vote. Bringing awareness in that way and making sure that if you can't vote or you don't want to vote, you're promoting at least 5 people a day to go and vote, and you know that people are going. Young kids.
We do all that. We might as well. I might as well get in office, so we can promote me.
we're gonna work with you, so you
And I
know
could be
you
the
can.
legislation, and I start jitting. Yeah,
And it's not even a matter of, oh, go vote Democrat versus Republican. It's us as young people need to provide our power. Another thing too is our ancestors fought for us to be able to do this. They gave up their lives. They actually did go out there and say, I don't care if I die. And then for us to be cowards and be like, oh, I don't want to, I don't know, like,
I don't care to.
or you don't care to. It's like, How do you pay homage to your ancestors and everybody who really literally died, got sprayed with big water hoses and bit by dogs and tased and all this, so that their future can have just the right to go press a button and vote because of how important it is. So we do have to, remember all that too, and pick, like, pick somebody.
Like two less evils.
But if you like
The
Rack said,
lesser of two evils.
like Rack said, if you're gonna vote, like make sure you do your research on them, because it's like, you never know who you put in an office. But like if you end up liking Trump, like vote for the man. Like if that's your cup of tea, like that's your cup of tea. But that's you making a difference. You know what I'm saying? And you're part of something that's gonna change. So if you like whoever you like, or if you research both of them and you don't like either or, you know what I'm saying? You don't have to like Rack said. You know what I mean? You do what you do.
But there's a lot of things. There's independence. There's other things that you can vote for. But let me ask you something, and you guys something. Say that you guys were in a room, right? And there was somebody who had a gun, and they said you can pick this door or this door. And this door, you're gonna get stabbed in the leg, or this door, you're gonna get your leg bitten off by a dog. But
Can we fight back?
But you gotta choose. But you have to choose. Or if you don't choose, I'm gonna make it even worse for you at the end. So choose one of them. Like your life is on the line. You have to choose one. You're gonna choose the less of two, right?
You might die if you get bit in the leg. You know how many people die from the artery in their leg?
Same
Right.
with being stabbed in the leg.
But my point is,
That's what I'm saying.
but my
You might fuck.
You might die either way.
but my point
I'm gonna
is
take
though,
the dog.
but my point here is that
For real?
if say there's
That's right. Put him up.
say
I
that
was about to ask you too. Can we fight? Can we
You
fight
you
like
do
whatever? it is?
you do what you got. You can
oh,
fight.
Oh,
Oh, it's over. It's over.
Shut that
I'm gonna take that knife on him.
But you're gonna
That's
but
easier than a dog.
but you're gonna choose, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna choose one, and both are bad, and both you can die. But you're gonna choose one, right? You're gonna choose the less of the two, right? And so here comes presidency, right? Then we get people who come into office that's worse than Trump. Then vote for Trump then. But make a conscious decision of what the future of where you're living and your people are living, you have control over. Okay, maybe Trump might be the better of the other candidates that's there. So choose the better route for you and what's to happen. If you know bad things are gonna happen anyway, have control at least in some way, some shape or form.
I think Joe Biden's running.
Yeah, he is actually.
Yeah.
Joe Budden.
Joe Biden. like,
Nah.
So everybody too is saying like, oh, this is gonna be an Obama term, and you know how close they are.
yeah.
And he said, listen, like I love Obama, but this is not him. This is me earning my place here. This has nothing to do with Obama. This is not.
What
This
if
is
he's
not.
even worse? Yo,
Joe Biden?
crazy.
already
Nah,
know
I'm
that
just
shit.
playing. I'm just playing. I don't want to throw that in here.
I mean, but we
that
gotta
would be
have
crazy.
we gotta have control. You
You
know.
a lie. You a lie.
So I used to think the same
He
thing.
probably he's probably scared to walk in the shadow of Obama too, cause like
Mhm.
he's like always that was like his success.
That's
as,
the
like,
white
the-
knight right there. That was the
Yeah.
white knight.
And they're best of friends, but
Mhm.
I don't think they might not. I don't know if they're gonna let that happen either. Like
That'd be
Because
cool, though.
they feel like it's gonna
You
be an
put him
Obama
as-
influence.
Joe, he put him as vice president. That would be fine. Can he do that? He could do
Oh,
that,
I
right?
don't know. Actually, that's a good question.
What?
Can he do that? Like, alright, so
Can you have a past president as a vice president?
Never happened before, but it can happen.
There you go.
fire.
Oh, because
Welcome
like,
back,
that's like,
Obama. Right?
and it's cool because like I thought like
Welcome back
if
from-
Hillary would have got elected, I thought that was dope. That Bill would have been with her. Like, yo, Bill's about to be back
Facts.
in the
That's
office.
yeah.
He's
That's
about
a
to be in there,
Mhm.
Monica the whiskeyed up. You
Oh
feel me?
my
And
god.
Hillary about to, you feel me, be hacking emails or whatever she be doing,
She about to
Oh
have
my
a man in there.
Yeah,
Like,
but I'd rather have them be doing, hacking and doing stuff like that than doing what Trump be doing.
But she left like a bunch of Americans to die in another country and
Yeah,
did
I'm about
nothing
to
to
say,
save her
Related
people.
to 44.
Yo, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do.
Bill sent a bunch of people to jail. Like he put some type of law, drug law or something. If I'm
Mm-hmm.
not mistaken. Yup. And he like I said, do your research. Don't think, oh, this and that, they cool. No, do your research.
Yeah.
And they did a lot of foul stuff. And people think they was good presidents and they wasn't.
Mhm.
So do your research.
Yeah,
Don't just
yeah.
vote for somebody.
Yep, Bill had the economy popping all night.
Nah, Bill sent a lot of people to jail too for nothing. He sent people to jail for a long time for nothing.
Yep. But they both, like I said, they both corrupt. You have to pick the two, the evils. You feel me? So, yeah, pick less of the two evils. Blah.
Yeah, I used to be the same way. I used to be like, oh, well, I don't like anybody, whatever. But then you have to think about you know, you have to have some type of control. You know, it's either this life or it's that life. And if you gotta choose, like
thug life. No.
like choose one, like choose one of them. Just know
Yeah.
that what you're mindfully doing. You know, you might not like half of their things, but you like the other half that you like better. Because you like that half better than the other person's half, and
Yeah.
that's the reason why you're behind them. You know, so. Anyway, we are going to take a break. This is a great conversation. We'll be back with some more information. And if you have anything to say about this, 888-304-4401.
Whose order is this?
Mine.
I'm gonna throw this out. You want it, right? That's yours too, right?
Yeah, I'm bringing that one.
Y'all can get some room real quick, brother. I'm gonna go outside and get some air, yo.